find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rhonda Kelsey. Welcome to Unfiltered, Unspoken. It is a pleasure to have you. And I'm going to tell you, it's in my heart because I feel it that you were supposed to be on here. Because whatever message you have to deliver today, it is a message that needs to be heard. Rhonda Kelsey is the CEO and founder of an organization called Mom of the Laws and Family Inc. She's a publishing officer, The Streets or the System, sold on Amazon. Rhonda's organization was started in 2021 in dedication of her son, Delonte, that was shot on April 1st, 2006. He was only 4 days shy from turning 18. Rhonda, whom not only lost her son to violence, but one that is currently incarcerated. The pain hits both ways. Rhonda is also a domestic violence survivor, and she wants parents, family members, and siblings to know that we share the same pain. Now, you tell me how powerful that is. So, we're going to go to a quick break, and then we're going to wheel Rhonda right on up in here. Thank you for tuning in to Unfiltered, Unspoken.
First of all, this video isn't about sympathy or condolences. It's not even one that I want to do. But there's a deeper purpose behind this one that primarily isn't about me, it's about you. To every parent that has had to say goodbye to a child that they never really knew and had some connection so deep, and the kind of love that still to this day effortlessly grew. I grieve with you in the most delicate way because I know this much is true. The weight you carry from your loss is unquantifiable. There is nothing that it can be compared to. As a creator, I'm honestly so torn about how much or how little I should share with you, but there is a void within this topic of loss, and it's uncommon to hear a father's point of view. And so I'll be transparent, because this isn't about who it hurts the most. To lose a part of yourself burns so deeply, irregardless of parental roles. And so my angel, this one is also for you. Time-stamped my feeble attempt to honour your perfection while consoling those who need it the most. I'll never get to see you start your first day at school. I'll never get to do what a father does when you fall down and tend to your wound, or watch you grow into a beautiful woman, nor walk you down the aisle and see the queen that you'd be upon your throne. I cannot wrap my mind around never again, because I've had no reference point to contrast with eternity, a time I've never known. As much as I try to stay present, at times I time travel into the future, looking back with nostalgia at all that you could have been. It brings a moment of comfort, followed by a wave of the deepest pain, and how I take for granted the life that I'm currently in. But I've done my best to dig deep and accept the time heals all wounds affirmation, even though I've seen no evidence of this. But maybe that's okay. Maybe acceptance is the solution. Maybe it's the type of void that just doesn't go away. Until that time, I will boldly cry. Because for you, I cannot be ashamed. And to the grieving parents, I hope that somehow, some way, you can experience a bit of joy in the midst of your pain.
Rhonda, let's bring you on up here. It is a pleasure to have you here.
Being here.
Hey, Rhonda.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, what you glad
Can you hear me?
for you. So we can keep it flowing so you get that screen back up. You hear me?
Barely.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Good. So, Rhonda, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Introduce um, a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your son, a little bit about your domestic violence piece, and we will go from there.
I am a mother of five, four boys, one girl. My oldest, Delonte Kelsey, was the one that was shot and killed April the 1st, 2006, I'm sorry. And I am also a domestic violence survivor. The day that Delonte was shot and killed, and it happened about 2 a.m. and they pronounced him about 3:30 in the morning at Howard Hospital. And he was the oldest of the five children. Delonte's daughter was 2 days old when he was shot and killed. It hit hard for everyone in the family, not just myself. And that's why Moms of the Lost and Family came about. Because when a parent loses a child, the whole family loses a child as well. The domestic violence part come from relationships before and after Delonte's death. I've had black eyes. I've almost been blind in one eye. I've had fractured nose. I've had a broken thumb to where as though I had surgery. And the list just goes on and on and on. So I survived it. And I just told myself that before I let anything else go on in a relationship, the first red flag that I see, I'm out. So that this won't ever happen to me again.
Rhonda, that is powerful, 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 powerful. So, may I ask, would you tell everyone why you stayed in an abusive relationship?
Um, I thought that was a way of love. I thought that was a way of someone letting me know that they love me. I didn't have my dad around, and I believe that I was looking for that male figure love.
Um, Dealing with domestic violence to a loss of the child, are you able to help? ask folks coping with both on both ends. I don't want to put that to similarities. You're dealing with a lot on both angles. How do you deal with everyday life going through two pieces of that? Well, the biggest significant piece is of losing a child.
Um, the loss of Delonte will always be there. Me being a survivor from the domestic violence, I made peace with it after going to get counseling and things like that. I made peace with it. So it's something that I just don't think about. But if it's brought up or if I run into someone and they need some type of help or they need someone to talk to and reference, about it, then I'll do that. But other than that, I made peace with that. It's a past, and that's just what I want it to be, my past.
Okay. Can you tell folks how dealing with the loss of a child? I know you mentioned that we all share the same experience. We grieve together. We share the same pain. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Sharing the same pain from everyone.
We share the same pain by the hurt, the crying. And I say pain stands for parents' anger is noticed and parents' anger is in need. Because the police department and or the homicide department, they hear us, they see us, but they don't do anything about it. With my son's case, I had a detective that was working on his case, and he would just constantly brush me off. And I would cry and I would cry and I would cry on that phone with him. And it was like I wasn't being heard. So, us sharing the same pain is that we want to be heard. You notice us because you see us crying, but you're not doing anything in our time of need.
Powerful. Was your son's case ever solved, Rhonda?
No, it's a cold case.
Wow. Um, can you tell folks what do you think the justice system can do better?
They need to, I would say, hold the person accountable that give these other people the guns. Because if someone is asking you for a gun, then you know 10 times out of 10 what they're going to do with that gun. So if I give you you come to me and ask me for a gun, and I give it to you, and you kill someone with that gun or shoot someone with that gun, I need to be held accountable as well as you. So I think that the justice system needs to hold everyone accountable or take these guns off the street. Some way, somehow, the killing is getting worse and worse.
Okay. I'm going to let this soak in because I know this is a whole lot for you to spill in just this short amount of time. We're going to take a quick break and we're
Okay.
going to come back. I'm going to let you refresh a little bit and we're going to come back and we're going to dig down even deeper.
Okay.
Okay. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Ron, I'm gonna give a special shout out again. Thank you for joining Unfiltered, Unspoken. Your life experience is going to touch so many folks because not only do you battle with the loss of a domestic violence survivor, but you also battle with the loss of your son, and you have also have another son that is incarcerated. You mentioned that it's a loss on both ends. Can you share with the audience the feeling of the loss on both ends?
Yes, my son DeAndre Kelsey got locked up 6 years after the death of Delonte. So DeAndre was locked up. Yeah, he got locked up 6 years after the death of Delonte. Losing your child to the system, meaning that they have that DC number that will stick with them for the rest of their lives. DeAndre being incarcerated, or you losing a child to the system, meaning that that child no longer belongs to you. It belongs to you because of the bloodline, but that child does not belong to you. That child has been awarded to the state or the city because of that number that they get and how they tell them when to eat, when to get up, when to take a shower, and things like that. So that's why the name of the book is called The Streets or the System.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate a little bit more about your book and some of the things that you have in your book so that we can give the audience a little bit more about your book and what you're doing to give the message back to anyone that has is dealing with the loss of a child?
Yes, the Streets of the System is a short memoir in reference to Delonte and DeAndre. And basically, it's the shooting or the things that the kids are out here doing now. It comes from a lot of learned behavior. And when you do learned behavior, it comes from an uncle, a cousin, someone in the streets that has you. I'm going to say they have you from the age of 9 or 10 holding their drugs or holding the gun or something like that, so they won't be caught with it. So they're teaching these kids how to do the things that they done. So when the next generation comes up, they're doing it. And my book is just basically telling you, speak up. Don't be afraid to speak out. Don't be afraid to see something and say something.
Okay, can you elaborate just a little bit more on see something, say something, so that the audience can get a better idea of what the message that you're trying to deliver?
Um, if you see a child, I'm going to use a minor child, age of 10 to maybe 12, and they're out there and they're doing an unusual thing, the drugs, or just hanging out on a corner, say something to the parent. Let the parent know, hey, this child shouldn't be out here, because this is what's going on, or this is what I see. Because I've noticed that there are kids now being killed or being arrested at a young age.
Do you think sometimes that the parent doesn't care?
Yes, I do. Because a lot of the parents are either their child's, how can I put it? What they're doing is they're either getting their products from the child, or the child is giving the parents money. And that way that parent is like, I have nothing to say because he's taking care of me or she's taking care of me no matter what. If it's a drug thing or if it's a money thing.
So do you think parents should have more, I guess, be more attentive to their kids to not give them as I mean, it's okay to give your child free space, but do you think they're giving them too much free space?
They're giving them too much free space because I've noticed nowadays that we have more parents that would, I'm just going to use it for an example. You have more parents that will stand in line when those new Jordans come out, but won't be at the kids' PTA meetings. Won't be at the PTA meetings, but you'll stand in line all day and all night for those new Jordans that come out. So if that's what, you want to be your child's friend instead of being your child's parent. So putting those two together, no. They're not going to go to the school to be a PTA, to go to the PTAs.
Okay. So, from advice, what advice can you give? And I know going through the loss of a son, do you think there's any way that you could have protected or did anything um, differently? Did you notice anything different, any different signs? Your son feeling uncomfort, or is this something that just happened out of the blue?
I've noticed that Delonte, about 3 months before he was graduating from high school, I
Hmm.
noticed that he called himself trying to drop out. Me as the parent, I called the truancy officer and said, "My son is home. I need you to come and get him and take him to school." And at that time, I was engaged to a police officer, in which I wound up marrying a police officer. They came and picked him up, took him back to Cardozo, and put him in school. He was so angry with me, and I noticed that he did it again. And I said, "If you think you're going to hang out, that won't happen on my watch." And just so happened, he was at the McDonald's on Georgia Avenue, and a car came up next to him and two other guys and just shot the car up.
So you think something personally was going on within the school with your son Delonte?
No, we lived on Fifth Street,
Hmm.
the 1300 block of Fifth Street. Fifth Street has a beef with Seventh Street, 2 blocks away. And from my understanding, it was someone on Seventh Street that had done this. Like I said, no one has ever been arrested. Every time they have interviewed someone in reference to Delonte's death, that person gets killed each and every time.
Wow. So that somebody knows something.
Somebody knows something. So it's been about 5 to 6 guys that's been interviewed, and every last one of those guys are deceased.
So do you think that someone is? Do you think that someone is? Uh, there's an informant somewhere down the line telling something
Absolutely.
for the good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's just a cold case. Every now and then I try to contact someone, or if I hear something, still to this day, I'll still say something. But it's like MPD don't want to deal with the cold case.
Wow. And do you think that's due to the population of him being in the African American community?
That could be one of them, but it also could be that they're dealing with so much out here because of all of the shootings that's going on. They're so busy because they're still trying to get officers, to be here and there. And then the detectives are out in the street also, dealing with the homicide. So no one is really in the office or can be in there to sit in there and deal with the cold case files.
Hmm. And just not off the, I want to go back to the school. Do you think your son was being bullied in school? The reason why he didn't want to go to school, because maybe there was a reason why he didn't want to go to school. He felt something was off.
Delonte tried to sell drugs. And I told him, not in front of my house, not in my neighborhood, not in my street, and not a child of mine. So he had
Wow.
to give that up.
Wow. Wow. So you think that part of that was a retaliation?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for being transparent and honest with everyone, because sometimes it's what our kids didn't do. We never want anyone to know the real story of what our kids is doing, so we try to shield that. Is there any advice that you could give to our young youth to avoid a situation that your son Delonte was put in?
Oh gosh. I would tell them, I would use the word, just like I told the kids at Cadoza, just say no. Because my son, who's 27 now, I can remember him walking home from school at the age of maybe 12, between 10 and 12. And an older guy was telling him, come here, and wanted him to hold some drugs for him. And my son told him no, and my son ran. So I always tell people, because you see, or the young folks, because you see what your brother did or what your uncle did or what someone in your family did, doesn't mean you have to do it. You be the example of the next generation or of your friends. So if one of your friends that you're saying no and you're not doing it, or a family member, then they'll follow behind. So just say no. The same way you say no to drugs and not using it, say no to drugs and not selling it, not touching it, not the guns and things like that.
Okay. So we have a lot, Rhonda. Woo! Yes. We're gonna go to a quick break, and we will be right back. We're about to dig in a little more. Rhonda, we thank you for your transparency, honesty, and truth. Let's get back to it. We'll be right back on Unfiltered Unspoken.
Welcome. I am your co-host, Daryl Washington. Today, I want to come in and just first say thank you to all of you who are tuning in on today's broadcast. I hope that you are very excited and getting something out of today's broadcast. We are working very hard here at Unfiltered Unspoken just to be able to bring you information that is life-changing. We are reaching across the world to bring in individuals who have suffered with the same issues that some of you have suffered with, or possibly even know individuals who are suffering with the same thing. Today, I wanted to take this opportunity just to show you a few of our upcoming shows that we are putting into place for you all, just for life-changing experiences, that you all will have the opportunity to get some information, look at all of the listing of the individuals that we have coming. I know that you all are going to greatly enjoy where we are going. We truly believe that we have been assigned to do.
Okay. I'm gonna hang up.
All right.
Thank you. Welcome back to Unfiltered Unspoken. So I'm gonna tell you, the devil is pounding on us today, because we've been trying to get Rhonda in here. We just been having so many technical difficulties back and forth. So we know this message needs to be delivered. Hold on. We're having technical difficulties again, Rhonda. Okay, let me try it this way. How about I call you and we'll just bring it in? Let's see. Hold on. We're going to make this work.
It's doing it again.
Okay, Rhonda, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, let's see if we can get it through this way. I'm going to call you in phone. We're going to get this interview done today. Okay, let's go. We're gonna make it work. Daryl, can you hear me? And can you hear Rhonda? Sorry, we're having technical difficulties. Just give us 1 second, please. Daryl, can you hear
Yes,
me and Rhonda?
I can hear everything fine.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to bring her in on my speaker because we're going to get this done. Because the devil playing with us for 3 days now with Rhonda. We're going to make this work. Okay, Rhonda. So let's keep chiming back in. So, as we said, the influencers can be the person on the corner. And I've had this discussion before. Why isn't that a person on the corner saying, hey, I don't want you to do this to the youth. I want you to make different choices. Um, Living your sons in the community, maybe you know the community or the area that you're in most. What do you think the disconnect is from the guy on the corner, the hustler, telling our youth to make different choices in the community?
The older guys are having the younger guys to do the things for them, because if the younger guys get caught with it, they won't do as much time. They won't do as much time. The older guys will get the 10 and the 20 years versus a 13 or 15 or 16-year-old. They may only get juvenile time, 2 years, or go to some type of juvenile detention.
Got you. So it's first the consequences, it won't go on their record, and second, they know that they're probably going to take care of the juvenile because they're doing this time in silence and they have to do less time.
Absolutely.
Okay, I got it. So what advice can you give to the parents in situations like this to try to protect their children from being thrown in the hands of someone else that is not going to be a positive role model for them?
I tell parents, watch your children, monitor your children, because I know you can't be with them 24/7 because you have to work, they have to go to school, but it's a way that you can monitor your child. I'm going to use the area of 7th Street, where the guys hang out at. That's a high-rise building over there. You can't monitor or watch your child from the window. Your child is standing outside on the corner. No, what you do is you come out there and you remove your child. You tell your child, this is not where you belong.
Mm-hmm.
Move along. If you came outside to come outside, find somewhere else to go. Don't hang around here, because this area or hanging here, it's not for you. It's not what I have for you.
Mm-hmm.
Or have them come in the house. Or find some type of activities for your children to do. After school activities, weekend activities.
Do you think that there is enough activities for the youth now?
It is, because they have everything, and a lot of stuff is not costly. You can do the go-kart, you can do bowling, they have places for where you can do the arcade room. Take them to the museums. The museums are open, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you think there's a disconnect with the parents and the youth? Do you think that parents are not doing enough activities with the youth?
Absolutely. These parents are so busy now trying to be their kids' friend. You can't be their friend and their parent.
Exactly. And I'm going to touch on that really quick, because I've always told my kids, don't ever call me a friend, because I was blessed to be a mom, and not everyone is got blessed to have kids. And for the parents that we are anointed to have kids, it's a blessing, because there's a lot of women struggling. I don't want my child to call me friend. So I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. It's a disconnect between the nourishment and the love of a mom and being your child's friend.
Yes, yes. I see a lot of it. I work for Metro, so I see a lot of it getting on my butt. The young ladies that have girls, their daughters and things like that, they dress them like their kids, or their kids are dressing like them. They have an 8 and 9-year-old with makeup on. I see it every day.
So, what advice?
To the mothers.
To the mothers, what advice can you give to the mothers with the younger girls?
Teach your daughter how to be a young lady so she can be the best woman.
Amen.
That you want her to be.
Amen. 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 It's. I don't think in the young or a lot of parents there's no accountability because the parents are still they're put on the grandmothers, and the younger generations of grandmothers now are younger grandmothers. They're not old school grandmothers. So it's a down pass now that the grandchild is with the hip younger grandmother. So there's probably a disconnect of being a friend there as well, and there's no disciplinary actions. Okay. So we're gonna jump back because I want to ask you, because you said you feel as though there are. I remember coming up 14, we had the work programs, we had mentorships. I don't see that much of those programs anymore. Is your foundation, your company doing anything that's happened to the youth piece of helping the community?
Well, at this point, by me just getting started, like I said, I just launched in December of 2021.
Okay.
And I'm actually looking for a workspace that way I can have or hold social gatherings and meetings and things like that. So I haven't put, I'm going to say, my best foot forward to get that part done yet. What I'm doing now is going around to the schools and speaking, at the schools, at assemblies and things like that for the kids who have lost a family member and letting them know, about the streets and things like that, my story. But my goal is to get my own workspace outside of my home and to, meet up with a lot of the parents, to do fashion shows, to do a brunch, doing things like that, workshops.
Okay, so anyone watching this, we'll share your information at the end, Rhonda. If anyone's watching this, Rhonda is definitely trying to give back to the community, to bring awareness of a family member, loved one that has lost a child, to tap into resources. If you can help Rhonda any kind of way with meeting space or resources, please, please, please reach out and connect with her, because we have a lot of positive folks that are in the community that are willing to help. And Rhonda is one of them, with giving back. And we're going to tap you in with Mobile Moms as well, Rhonda. The founder of Mobile Moms is helps with moms that have lost a child, and I think that y'all will be a wonderful connection. Okay.
Appreciate that.
Oh, of course, absolutely, my pleasure. Rhonda, can you you also said you have a 2-year-old grandbaby. Well, she was 2 at the time of your son's loss. Are there any she's older now. Are there any challenges with her dad not being present?
She was actually 2 days old.
2 days. Okay.
2 days old. She's 16 now. Okay. Every time it turns a year for him, it turns a year for her. Mm-hmm. So he's been deceased 16 years, and she's 16 years old. And for her, her mom wound up dating and having another child.
Mm-hmm.
And her little sister's family took my granddaughter on.
Mm-hmm.
And when she got to a certain age, she said, I don't want to go around his family anymore. I want to know my dad's family. She knew who I was. She knew who my mom was. But along the line, a lot of her cousins, her aunt, and things like that. So it really bothered her, and in which I didn't know because I was so busy looking at her and seeing my son, and it was causing so much pain. So when she said it, I said, wow, a child has come to say something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Powerful.
she stopped going around her little sister's dad's side of the family because she wanted to be around her dad's family.
Wow, that's powerful. So how is she coping? Um, Even with wanting to be around, how is she coping today? Like, and how are you helping her through this process? And I'm pretty sure she's still grieving, even though she was 2. She is definitely grieving, and it doesn't matter how old someone is. No one can ever tell anyone how to grieve because that was her father, and through you there is a connection to her dad. So how is she coping, and how are you helping her cope at the same time you're still coping and grieving through the loss of your son?
The thing that we do together, and which I go get her, is we go to the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
On the weekends, if I'm not working or something like that for overtime, I'll get her. We'll go shopping, and things like that. We have not really, actually, I have not sat down with her in a couple of years to talk to her about the situation. I did at one time, but I've noticed that when I see her, when we're going to the cemetery or when we're leaving, I give her that moment because I can see her in the car and her head is down. I tried to give her as many pictures or anything that I may have had of his. I'll share that with her. But I think that at this point of her being 16, that I need to really have the conversation with her because I don't think that she really understood at one time. But to have that conversation with her to let her know what type of person her dad was because she never got to know him.
Mm-hmm.
She was just born. She was just 2 days old.
Mm-hmm.
But she never got to know her dad.
Mm-hmm. And that goes back to you too. Even though you have a child, you think he's 17. You have a 30. You would see him now as your king as he's coming to the adulthood. It's like you lost a lot of a child as well because you didn't get to see the second the piece. Yes, is exactly. So your emotions now with the grieving. How do you um how are your ups and downs? How can you help folks just grieve as well, or give some pointers of having those up and down moments? How do you get through the up and down moments in your life with the loss of your child?
You never do. And it's no words for it because you have to, it's going to come out because this is someone that you nourished. You carried this child. So the ups and downs for me, Thanksgiving was his favorite holiday. So doing Thanksgiving, doing Christmas, his birthday, things like that. Even outside of that, but those are like the high point moments that I don't want to be bothered. Um, I get so many, I'm going to call them wellness checks as far as phone calls and things like that. But to the grief or anything, it just comes out of nowhere. Sometimes I could just be thinking about him and I can laugh. and then within the next hour or so, I can be thinking about him and I'm crying. So the grief is up and down, but it's no way for you to tell anyone or say to anyone how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I had someone to tell me, if I kept crying after 7 years, I need help. And I told that person,
wow.
No, you need help for saying that to me. Until you lose a child, don't you ever say that to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Agreed.
this will be with me forever.
Agreed. No one can tell us. I can only imagine being a mom, what I would go through. So, yeah, you could, our kids, that's us. That's a part of us.
Mm-hmm.
We carry them for 9 months, and for them to be taken to such a senseless act, it makes it even worse.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Wow. Your story, your life experience is powerful, Rhonda. I mean, powerful. So I'm going to go back. Your son that's incarcerated, will he ever come home?
My son came home
Mm-hmm.
after doing 5 years in
Okay.
Cumberland.
Okay.
He came home and he stayed out for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's locked back up now. He's locked back up again. And me as a mom, I told myself, I said, I did those first 5 years with him when he got locked up. I'm not doing it anymore. I love you, but I'm not doing it anymore because I don't have to. You put yourself in that situation. I'm not going to keep doing jail with you each and every time you do something wrong.
Mm. So this time you're holding him accountable.
He's been held accountable.
Wow. Deep, 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 deep.
I don't go see him. I don't write him. I did 5 years with you, making sure you had money every week. I would bring your son and your son's mother down there every 2 weeks. 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back home. I'm the only driver. But that's what I do for a living. I drive. So for you to come home and do the same thing over again, you on your own with this one.
Mm-hmm. I was just speaking on a post, and I had mentioned, I'm going to sum it up. It was a lot. If someone does time in jail, don't introduce them as a friend, or if someone loves you, they're going to say, don't do that. If you're surrounding yourself with folks that don't care, they're going to say, don't do that. But the message to people is, if someone's coming home, help them stay out of jail. Say, no, you don't need to do that. This is why you spent 5 years in jail. Do you want to spend another 5 years in jail? Help them realize why not to go back, why to stay home. And, I said, we can go through a lot of things, but show your friends a vacation. Show them family love. If you don't feel as though you're getting it on this side, show them on that side what love is. And I think it's a disconnect when folks come home, they get around the same folks, they don't care about them. And they introduce them to the same things when they left and they went home. Is there any advice that you can give someone dealing with your son being locked up for 5 years, and now he's gone back to jail? I guess similar reasons why he went to jail before, or different reasons why he went to jail this time?
This time it was a different reason.
Okay.
And I don't mind sharing. The first time it was armed carjacking.
Okay.
This time it had something to do with guns, and by him being a gun felon from being an armed carjacking, he had guns. He was not living in my house at the time because I would not allow DeAndre in my home because I had his younger brother, and I had my career to think about. So he didn't want to listen. He didn't want to do what he was supposed to do. And he, what is it that they call it? He violated his parole, his probation. He violated. So all of those things, with me telling you not to do it, your grandmother telling you don't do it, and you still did it, you have to eat this one.
Mm-hmm. Did he hang around the same folks that he hung with before he went in?
He did. He, and I'm going to say even worse, because the day that I picked him up from Cumberland when he got released, I took him, he came out and it was cold, it was snowing outside, and it was in March, and he came out in some shorts and a t-shirt and some slides, flip-flops or whatever. No coat, no nothing. Me, my mom, and his younger brother, we took him to Clarksburg, and my nephew was in a car. And we took him shopping because he had no clothes on. It was cold outside. We took him shopping, got back on the road to come back home. The minute we got back home, he was supposed to report to the halfway house. He said, I'm going to check in with my, these were his words. I'm going to check in with my mans and them or something like that. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. You just got home. You're not going to spend time with your family? I have something planned for us. No, I got to check into the halfway house. I'm going to see my mans and them first. Oh, really? From that moment on, I let him be with his mans and them. So now, where are your mans and them now that you're locked up again?
They don't care.
Because they wasn't there the first time.
And that's the thing we always ask. Why do you want to deal with someone that wasn't there for you when you went through the years that was there for you? Like, why do you feel like he felt that way to not come home, but to go hang with his friends? Do you think it's personal with you, or?
No, DeAndre is fascinated with the streets for some reason. Always has been. As a child. Always has been. He would see a fight, he would run to the fight instead of running away from the crowd. I'm talking about junior high school, elementary school. Always fascinated with the streets. For some apparent reason.
Do you think it was the influence in the neighborhood or the people that he's seen going to school, or maybe male figures that he watched growing up?
It wasn't the male figures because his family on his dad's side and on my side, he didn't see that. So it was, and I'm not going to even say the neighborhood because we wound up moving to Woodbridge. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying Woodbridge is better than, Northwest or anything like that. But we wound up moving to Virginia, and no matter where we went, he was just fascinated with the streets. No matter where we went.
I call it peer pressure sometimes, like the fit in, like they try to fit in.
Absolutely.
Okay. Rhonda, oh my gosh, I think I'm definitely, this is going to have to be a to be continued because I want to ask you so many more questions. Okay. Oh my God, your life experience is phenomenal. I want to ask one more question and then we're going to wrap it up. I know it has to be hard telling your child, I'm not going to help. I've turned my back on you. What can you say to the parents that continue to enable their child's bad behaviors? What advice can you give them to say, don't condone to their child's bad behaviors, to make them accountable for their actions? Because there are a lot of parents that are in denial, or they try to protect their child's wrongs.
Tough love doesn't have an age. Tough love does not have an age to it. So what you have to do is say no and mean it. because you are enabling them, and they know that they can count on you, or they can say whatever they need to say to get whatever from you. Now, if I'm out here for my son DeAndre, he has a child. I'm not going to take care of your child while you're locked up and take care of you too.
Mm-hmm.
My donation to your child. Does not have a child. You can't keep sending money each time they get locked up. Making those trips, you have to make them feel it. They may be upset, but they'll understand later on. So you have to say no and stand on it, and make them respect you, even more, because if they don't, and a lot of these kids are using their parents. A lot of them use their parents, and parents don't understand that when I say that. They're using you. Some of these parents, they just, like I said, like we were talking about earlier, they're befriending their kids.
Mm-hmm.
You're not being a parent. So they're using their parents because they know they can get it. But as soon as that parent stands up to be a parent, the child will get mad for a while, but then will come back and understand.
Mm-hmm. But even so, you have the kids that fight their parents when they don't get their way. They'll take from their parents when they don't get their way. And it is actually some parents that are scared of their children, because I believe these behaviors right here, you've allowed these behaviors. Now the child has lost respect, and you become just a bank or a need to the parent, because you've leveled down and said, I'm going to allow my child to do certain things. I'm going to give them. And even when they're not right, I'm still going to give you. I'm like you, tough love. If my kids do something, I shut them down. But they respect that in the end, because we're teaching them valuable lessons to respect and to respect others. And I'm here for you. I'm not against you. I love you. So you don't need to do certain things.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna, Rhonda, thank you for coming on Unfiltered Unspoken. I'm definitely bringing you back on, because this definitely has to be continued, because we are not finished. Can you share with the audience your social media tags? You have a book that's out. Again, if you could tell them how to get your book, any other information, any upcoming events, anything that you would like to share with the audience. Let's hear it.
I am on Amazon. The book is called The Streets for the System. It's on Amazon being sold. I think the price had went down. I'm not sure what the price is now at this point. I want to say $12 for the book. I'm on LinkedIn, and it's under Rhonda Kelsey. Or you can punch in Moms of the Lost and Family.Inc. And I'm Rhonda Kelsey 212@gmail.com.
Okay.
Also, I have my website, which is momsofthelost.org.
Okay. Y'all, please come out and support Rhonda. Do you have a donation page, Rhonda, where folks can make donations? Can you make that through the website?
I don't have the donation page up as of yet.
Mm-hmm.
That page is being worked on, also along with my social media page.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So once you get that up, we come back on, I will definitely share the information, tag to give that information out. Rhonda, we thank you for coming on Unfiltered Unspoken. We thank you for your truth. We thank you for your transparency, to show another side of it is okay to stand up to your child and make them accountable, to bring awareness to the streets, how your child can be pulled into activities, and peer pressure can dominate what is taught in the home. So we really need parents to understand that you can teach your child something in the home, but once they get out in society and the public, peer pressure can overpower everything that you have taught your child.
Absolutely.
So we're going to go out. Please support us, Unfiltered Unspoken, The Good Fight. We merchandise, we brand, we logo, we run advertisement. Please come get at us airtime. We are doing a little bit of everything. We are printing shirts, stitches, with custom designs. We have Sid. She's not on today. She's doing life insurance. Please don't wait until the loss of a loved one to occur, expenses that they do not have. Protect yourself. Protect yourself. She can get you a policy. Regardless, we will share that information. So Sid, she can get you an insurance policy. If you have any additional information, reach out to Demetria at unfilteredunspoken.com. We are doing a little bit of everything. We have packages for marketing. Come get at us. Daryl, our executive producer, is the bomb. Let me tell you something. So thank you for tuning in to Unfiltered Unspoken. We will see you on the next episode. And to be continued, Rhonda is coming back. I promise you real soon.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much. So I'll see you Saturday, right?
I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah.